Welcome to Episode 6 of the Iraq War 2003, WMD Fantasies and Lies. Bush II never found an H-bomb in Iraq, and is play-acting before a correspondents' dinner 1 year after the invasion of Iraq, pretending to look for a WMD under his Oval Office desk, suggested WMD was something of a joke in the White House, not a true casus belli. This is Frank H. Wallis, Ph.D., and in this episode, I'll look at the ways in which Bush II accepted secret information designed to confirm his prejudices about Saddam Hussein. In June 2003, months after the invasion, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, SCI, began a formal review of U.S. intelligence into the existence of Iraq's WMD. SCI was particularly interested in the October 2002 National Intelligence Estimate. Typically, these take 3 to 6 months to complete. Bush II got his in 3 weeks on the 1st of October 2002. SCI concluded that this quickie estimate was bogus. It said Iraq had chemical and biological weapons and was well on the way to building nuclear weapons capability with delivery systems. SCI blasted the intelligence community for lack of information sharing, poor management, and inadequate intelligence collection. Remarkably, most of what the analysts knew about Iraq's WMD predated the 1991 Gulf War, leaving them in total ignorance about the state of those programs in 2002. The intelligence community assumed Iraq had WMD and proceeded to make judgments based on that assumption. It was a case of groupthink. As an example of groupthink, analysts rationalized the lack of evidence as the result of Iraqi denial and deception. Deception to hide the WMD programs that analysts were convinced existed. Absence of evidence was taken to mean evidence of wrongdoing. A jaw-dropping conclusion. SCI noted a layering effect in the estimate. This means the process of building an intelligence assessment primarily using previous judgments without substantial new intelligence reporting. That Ahmed Chalabi's Iraqi National Congress hoodwinked several Western spy agencies has been well documented. Chalabi sent Iraqi defectors to at least 8 Western spy agencies before the war in an effort to dupe them about Saddam's weapons programs. His agents fooled the CIA into believing Saddam had a biological program. The CIA acknowledged he was a liar only in 2004. Douglas Feith's Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy established a team called the Policy Counterterrorism Evaluation Group to sift through intelligence on all terrorist groups in the Middle East. Feith had also been responsible for creating the Office of Special Plans, a policy unit in the Department of Defense which sought ways to destroy Saddam Hussein. Staffer Karen Kwiatkowski observed that Feith's OSP engaged in suppression and distortion of intelligence analysis to push falsehoods to Congress, Dick Cheney, and Bush II. OSP existed to cherry-pick raw intel from the CIA and other agencies and stovepipe it up to Dick Cheney and thence to Bush. For Bush II, the most valued source of information on Iraq as a weapon of propaganda to scare people into voting for war was Feith and Cheney, not the traditional spy agencies in the intelligence community. SCI said that intelligence community assessments about Saddam's links to terrorism were not proved. Saddam was never planning to give WMD to al-Qaeda, even if he had any to spare. On February 5, 2003, just before the invasion, Colin Powell presented claims that Iraq was not compliant with Security Council's resolutions and provided details of intelligence reports on each of the areas of Iraq's suspected WMD programs. Condoleezza Rice and the CIA had been working on Colin Powell's speech since early December 2002. It was nothing but stovepiped lies. SCI concluded much of the information provided or cleared by the CIA for inclusion in Powell's speech was overstated, misleading, or incorrect. On March 31, 2005, a presidential commission delivered a report to Bush II on the subject of Iraq's alleged WMD. The commission bluntly stated, "We conclude that the intelligence community was dead wrong in almost all of its pre-war judgments about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction. This was a major intelligence failure." Not surprisingly, to those who are skeptical of Bush II's intentions and motivations, this commission found that the president's daily briefings and the senior executive intelligence briefs on the Iraq situation were even more alarmist and less nuanced than the October 2002 National Intelligence Estimate. The Iraq Survey Group, or ISG, concluded that Iraq had not tried to reconstitute any capability to produce nuclear weapons after 1991, a direct contradiction of Bush claims based on numerous intelligence community reports from 1991 to 2002. The ISG concluded that Saddam's regime, under severe pressure from United Nations sanctions, reacted by unilaterally destroying its WMD stockpiles and halting work on its WMD programs. So why would Saddam have made public comments that he had WMD? Because he did not want rivals Iran and Israel to know about his weakness. Bush II never acknowledged the difference between possession and possibility, reality and fantasy in WMD. He declared that his assessment of Saddam was based on sound intelligence. He went to war fooling Congress and the people that WMD was the casus belli, but only after taking possession of Iraq did he admit that possession of WMD was irrelevant, even a joke, and that simply wanting WMD was enough reason to invade and occupy. Note the dishonest switch in rationales for war. He was never impeached for this dishonesty. President Obama chose not to prosecute him as a war criminal, although he could have. How long would U.S. troops remain in Iraq to make the American homeland safer, or to assure that millions of motorists would continue to buy cheap gasoline and extend record profit margins for the major petroleum corporations? This is your Empire historian, Frank H. Wallis, Ph.D. Thank you for listening and thinking.